Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mediak. And I'm going to start off a little bit different here. I'm just going to say thank you, everyone who subscribed recently and has been watching the channel. We've had more growth in the last 2 weeks than we've had basically in the last couple years. And I appreciate it a lot. So much so that we're starting to get videos prepping us for getting a partnership with YouTube, which is insanely exciting. And I usually throw this on to Skylar to do at the end of it because I kind of find it cringy a little bit. But please subscribe because we're very close to that. And I think that would be insanely awesome. But yeah, this week we're doing Monsters University. We're continuing down that path. Stay tuned to afterwards if you want to see some movie news and then other stuff that we watched in between recordings. But yeah, as usual, Chandler, Skylar, Austin, then Zach down here. Who wants to give a little breakdown of the movie? Skylar, the guy.
Yeah, well, I take these movies, so if I want to follow the rule I made for Chandler, I feel like I have to abide by it. Oh, flash your mug again. Kyle, I was talking to him yesterday. He said he hasn't seen it on recording. So there was his mug. I told him he's recording too.
What the shit?
And yeah, watching.
Come to South House.
Yeah.
Actually called
Hit button. Don't worry. Now he has no excuse. Right. Monster University. So we're back in the Monsters world, except we jump back in time and we see the upbringing of Mike, Sully, Randall, and a lot of the other monsters who are in Monsters Inc. and who don't quite make it to Monsters Inc. And we start off the movie with the class taking a trip to Monsters Inc. And that's where Mike gets his idea to become a scare. He can't see. He's kind of he doesn't really have any friends in class. He's kind of like pushed over and always paired with the teacher. And he goes see scare. He can't see because people are in front of him blocking the view. So he sneaks up to the door and sneaks in, sneaks out. And the big monster is like, "Whoa, I didn't see you in there." And he's like, "Well, I see you in there." And then he puts the Monster University hat on his head. And then from that on, Mike wants to be a scare and wants to get into Monster University. He gets into the scare program, moves in with Randall. And then we get to see some of the class. Mike's studying really hard. And then Sully enters the class. We find out he's a Sullivan, which is a famous name in the scaring world. So big things are expected of him. Nothing expected of Mike. He's not scary. It's mentioned throughout the movie that Mike is just simply not scary.
He's just too. He is cute.
Yeah, Sully.
Baseball nickname.
Yeah, Sully bullies Mike a little, and Mike kind of pushes back at one point to the point where they knock over a relic of the dean of the scare program when she broke the scare record, and they both get kicked out of the program. And then in order to get their way back in, they do the scare games and make a deal with the dean to get back in. And they make it all the way to the end. And then they win to find out that Sully cheated for Mike to let him win. They confess. They're both still kicked out. And then we kind of end it with them going to the mail room and working their way up to being scares. And it ends with them on their first day of scary.
One other thing, they weren't this. I'm only adding this because I
weren't friends.
Well, that too, but also they weren't kicked out for cheating. They were kicked out for exploding a section of the school. I enjoyed that like so much. Well, it was because
the door.
Yeah.
I would say with Sully, he was already getting kicked out though.
So it was said.
But it was. In a lesser movie, they could have been like, "Oh, it doesn't matter if you cheated; you still like proved yourself or whatever." But they like definitively were kicked out of the school for like a hard set reason. Like even if the teacher was like, "Whatever, we'll pass the cheating." No, you kind of exploded that. We can't let you come back into it.
Yeah, I think that only affected Mike. I'm pretty sure right before whenever he went up to confess that he cheated, she's like, "Okay, get off my campus."
Yeah, that's
yeah. I was like, I didn't only affect Mike and the others.
She was impressed by the screaming like that they did in the other world. That would have superseded the cheating in my head, you know?
Well, but like,
really impressed.
She could have gone back on her word for that reason, but I don't think that's why they both got the boot, right? Mike lost and he cheated. Are those the reasons alone, or?
Well, I mean, if that was true, then the other ones wouldn't have been brought back into the scaring program.
I would say that too. I think Sully got kicked because he cheated and the door thing, and then Mike got kicked because of the door thing.
Yeah, Sully caused the door thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun object.
There is something.
We settled it, you guys.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Why was Jim from The Office in this movie? I want to bring that up. He was cast for like 3 lines at the very beginning.
He's perfect. What do you mean? His voice is so distinct for just like nice white dude, and like he's fair to see.
Yeah, I guess.
And he works in well there. Like he's the nice, like, good scare guy. He popped in like to BoJack Horseman in a similar way, where he's just like, yeah, I didn't listen to you.
That's funny.
I wouldn't say the exact same way, but he's just like has a famous sounding voice, but also like he's supposed to be humble type of vibe.
Supposed to be, yeah. He spent the last 5 years making government marine propaganda movies.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's because he made like a bag off of selling the Some Good News idea that he had for like $2 billion. So now he can just do whatever the fuck he wants.
What?
Wait, you did
They talk about?
No. He had some good news that he came up with in COVID, and he sold that to some news company for a shit ton of money because they were like, it's the idea, it's not the person. And then it just flopped. The person sold it, and he just made like $1 bazillion and just ran away with it.
That's true. It was cool. I like that. Like it was, especially during COVID. That was fun. But yeah, it was the person and the time period. I don't think it's gonna do well outside of that. But
sorry, I actually thought that was just like a funny addition to it. I just like he didn't even come back up like at any other time in the movie at all. He just kind of was there.
I think he'd be there like during the scene when they came back or something. As like an old. So like a lone eye thing because he could have showed up.
Yeah, like why did they show the beard guy? They should have shown John Krasinski. I feel like that would have been more impressive to like focus on him, being like, oh, that's the guy that made me want to be a scare. Also,
yeah, I agree.
To transition off of that, I thought, well, last week, Austin, you were talking about how creative the last movie was, and I don't want to like anything I'm going to say here diminish how creative that movie is, but I also think that the creativity part of this movie in the story is insanely impressive to me because they obviously had the ideas, the world set in stone from the previous movie, but how do you make a follow-up 12 years after the original movie, and the original movie is already amazing. And they came up with this fantastic idea, make Mike the main character and have him just go through this incredible character development. Like the character like arcs in this movie are the story in this movie instead of just like this great idea followed by a relatively interesting theme. And that was so much more interesting to me personally than the first movie. I fucking love this movie. I'm really happy that Skylar picked this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, honestly, probably.
There is one thing that I want to say that I think was pretty apparent throughout like the entire movie, but there was so much like care and effort and like attention to detail put throughout this thing to make sure that it like blended well as like a prequel.
Austin disagrees
to the movie and still have everything and the other movie makes sense.
I think that is one of the biggest things that this movie just flops with, to be honest. And I can point to many examples. All right. I know
where some because I have like one or two.
Yeah, prepared, bro. I was in the first movie are pretty one note, and I think that having them be completely different from what they were in the first movie makes complete sense because they have to develop into the characters that we see them become. Yes. And I think we see that with both Mike and Sully.
What about Randall?
Yes, and with Randall too. But Randall,
not with Randall. What are we talking
in the first movie? But I think like even having him, even so much as like kind of the slight arc is better. I think.
Let me just say specifically with Randall, that was in contention for one of my least favorite scenes for here because No, just the specific scene where like Sully beats him and he's like, "I'm never losing to you again, Sullivan," and that being insinuated that that's the like motive
That's really
getting off the thing. Like, I think there are a lot of points for this movie. Actually, does do a good job of making it like a cohesive story between 1 and 2. That is one of the ones where I'm like, they chose to either include or not include anything on Randall's backstory. And I get that he's a one note villain in the first one, but they made him even more one note in this movie just by having him be a little bit sore that like his rival or whatever
Right.
beat him. Like he didn't even do anything bad to him.
No, totally. I think
And his
Ladder
best friend, and his best friend, they made Mike his roommate.
Yeah.
Like
I
they did not have to do that. But it doesn't make sense. Like in the thing,
I think it makes sense to have him be. I think it makes sense to have him be a roommate of Mike, so we can kind of see that a lot of Randall's like intention, even at the beginning, was to try and fit in with like the cool kids, like going to all the parties, and that he got in with Roar, and then Sully's the one who made him get kicked out of Roar.
Yeah.
Which was the only thing he wanted, was to fit in with the cool kids. Which does speak to your thing that he is still one note, but I think he had to be the roommate, so you knew from the beginning that the only thing he wanted in this movie was to fit in with the cool kids.
I think that's fair.
I think.
But-
Sorry, do you mind if I say something real quick?
Yep. Go ahead.
So I really, one thing that I thought was really fun was they took their characters in the first movie and they found the exact opposite place that they would be and put them in that position at the very start of this movie. And I think that makes sense. Like, it was fun to watch Randall, because he wasn't ever going to be the A or even the B plot of this movie. He's like the C or D plot, just kind of watching this background character develop. And I think removing that line at the end of the movie completely makes it fine. Because in my head, it's like he's a C or a D plot. His character development isn't done at the end of this movie. He's still going to be in Mike and Sully's shadow repeatedly throughout life. So I didn't feel as though like that was a big deal to me, because he's only in the movie because he was in the first movie. He's not in the movie because he actually impacts the plot.
I think that's my issue though, is like I think it's bold that the movie takes on like the complete polarization of a lot of characters that we saw in last movie. And that's awesome. But it doesn't follow through with showing how they got to where we saw them before. And I think that's the job of a prequel, is that like when you say, okay, yeah, this character isn't in anywhere remotely the same situation where we saw them previously, and here's how they get to that point.
Sure.
I think it's a common issue in this movie that they show something that is very different, and then they don't completely follow through with the explanation on how we got there. And can I explain one more?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Because I'm like, I think that's a general trend, and I think that happens with Randall. I think the biggest victim of that, or the biggest kind of point that I saw, is the end of the movie, like entirely so. Like I think I love this movie. I don't want to make it seem like,
we speed run getting to the. I hate that. That's my least.
But the thing is, like we've had a whole prequel movie to say, here's the backstory of how Mike and Sully got to where they are. And then the last 2 minutes of the movie are like, okay, yeah, throw the rest of the movie away. And here's this other story of how they just went from zero. Yeah. And here's just like the credits of how they worked their way up, which could have been a whole movie in and of itself. I don't
start of like a trilogy of movies, and that they didn't get greenlit for it. So they just spammed their ideas in the last bit there. That's definitely,
yeah.
I'm mildly upset that you brought that up, because that's my least favorite scene in the movie. But we also
that's not mine.
We also need
now.
I will also say, they managed to take the college idea and kind of make it like a fun, exciting thing. But a lot of like the fun, exciting part was like the scare games and the competitions, and like kind of just like seeing characters at the beginning. But how entertaining do you think a movie would be with them working in the mailroom, and then working in the cafeteria, and then working with cans, and then like at the end of the movie, whenever they do actually get the promotion of scares, like that part is entertaining because it's Monster Inc.
Yeah.
But do you think they really could have done anything with that that wouldn't have felt just like excess filler?
Totally.
I always say they didn't.
If in 2005 you're like, okay, we're working on a monsters movie where we put Mike and Sully in college, I would have been like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But like, we only think it's good because it was what's the word I'm looking for? It was acted upon well. It was written very well. It was just everything about
Executed well.
Executed well. Thank you. Perfectly. Yeah. That's the only reason why we think this is a good idea, is because it ended up being a good movie.
I think
It is like
I might need to say something. I actually like the montage at the very end, whenever they show going from the mail room. I think like the movie stated, it's didn't overstay its welcome, because it's already an hour and 44 minutes. And I don't know, I don't mind it. I feel like they just like dynamite. It does kind of bridge the gap between how they get to the first movie. I guess you could explain like what's Randall doing all the time, but I didn't mind it so much.
I think it's more that it's a way. I liked it too. Like I liked the title, not the title crawl, whatever you want to call it, for the like end credits. But it's solving a problem a little bit like hastily that they created themselves, and I guess that's all that I'm saying. And I one real quick thing. And this is sorry, Zach, you're good. You're gonna thank you afterwards. I think an even more like clear example of what I'm saying is like the canon events of what's happening. Why the hell did they include the abominable snowman? Because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of what they did this week. It's funny and I like that, but
I turned to G and
he knows
them been fired like the next week, because
the thing is though, I was like, maybe they just don't know each other super well. And this is just seeing him at work, but then they immediately call him out by name, and I'm like,
Yeah, they said was this correct?
oh, okay.
yeah.
That's like the biggest continuity error in the entire movie.
My notes were destroyed, so I don't have as much backing as I had. But I had at least like 3 to 5 examples.
I'm sorry, Zach. I was just trying to help Austin potentially recall a point.
Okay.
He did like, I don't know if this is to your point or not, but he did say like in the movie that like you can't go through the mail. You can get like banned for that. I don't know if that's one of the things you're going at. Like maybe you should have banned for that.
It's the exact same thing where it creates a problem and then solves it in a, if I'm being honest, slightly lazy way that doesn't completely fix it. And it's like, oh, he gets banished, but like, They knew each other. Like they're just like, oh my god, there's our old boss. They got banished. Like, when you remember that?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay. The reason why I didn't like the end bit is I think, especially if you're making a prequel, I don't think this is as important when you're making like a sequel or something like that. But with a prequel, the movie needs to 100 million% stand on its own completely, because a prequel should stand. Sorry, I hit my mic. I thought I muted myself. A prequel should stand as if that movie is the first movie in the entire series. So you should be able to you watch that as an introduction point. And I feel as though the end of the movie is only in the movie because the movie is a prequel. I think like if this was the start of something else, it wouldn't have just sped run until they were scarers or something like that. I honestly think it would have been really awesome to have like a hard cut at them being in the mailroom, just like seeing like, oh, what? I think it would have been interesting to
Keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just giving my active reaction. You can keep talking about your point.
It's out the newspaper and he's like, oh, there's always you can always hire in the mailroom, and then it hard cuts to them being like, most mail shipped in a month, and it's both of them, and then like maybe the credits are like, you see pictures of them as they're going through, but not actually like seeing the clips itself. I think that would be so much more interesting.
I see where you're coming from. And this is getting into my other big criticism of the movie, but like, if you had just watched Monsters University, Monsters Inc. didn't exist, and it ended the way you're saying, like, what would your takeaway from the movie be?
I think it's one of those things that you could be like, I don't know, either he realized that he hit a wall and he can just work the way that he can, or if you're an optimist, you could be like, he realized he found a way that he can work up into the system.
Well, but like, you don't know that they become as successful.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, he's out. Did Dawson die for you guys?
You got all heroes for a second, but I was like, I figured that's me. Okay. I think that's my honestly biggest criticism of this movie is what's the message here? Like, regardless of how you handle like the end title crawl or how you connect it, like,
I think of it as okay. He's dead, but I'm still gonna talk if that's okay. So I interpreted the message because it's told through Mike. It's initially like, oh, this is natural talent versus trained talent, but then it shows you definitively that trained talent hits a wall eventually, and it can't beat natural talent. So it's a matter of finding your place in the world that you want to be in. Like, for example, if I wanted to be a NASCAR driver, maybe I'm not good enough behind the wheel, but I could change the tires of the car. I can do anything I can to be a part of that world. I can be a coach or something. That's Mike's like theme. That's his message throughout the movie is he can't be a scarer, but yeah, he can be a part of the biggest scare team in the entire world. Austin, did you hear any of that?
I heard all of that.
Actually,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, every bit of it. I like that, and I think that's fine. Actually, no, I don't. I'm going completely the opposite. I'm sorry, I don't like that message. I think that it tries to tell the message of hard work means success, but that's not like. I think the more nuanced
Shows him hit a wall at one point in the movie.
That's what I mean.
I'm saying,
And I'm saying like
wait, that's how you show.
I
I think that's a crappy message.
like that's something else.
Sometimes you can't do what you want to do, but you can still get close.
I feel like it's trying to say play your strengths. Like he's the brick, Sully's the bronze. So
I took it as like sometimes when you really get to know a person, like an unexpected team to be made with somebody you never thought you'd be with.
That's another one.
Like Mike and Sully didn't like each other. They never wanted to work together. And then they ended up working together and pulling off like a miracle to even get back. And then they became friends and started the scare team. That's what I took it as. Like unexpected things come from unexpected situations.
So happy.
Oh, I'm gonna keep going on this because it is something. I think that's fair, but I guess, and I've gone back and forth on this because I'm like, part of me is
Weapons. This is Austin's.
yes. I love Monsters University. I do. It's just like for whatever reason, I guess the like 79th time watching a movie, I became very critical of it.
I think this was probably my like 4 billionth time. I
Yeah,
watched this movie twice last year.
it's been mom always has it on. So like I do love this movie and I don't want to make it seem like that, but like I love it for the experience. And I think when you look at like I just don't love the message because I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry, excuse me. I just think that if we're looking really deep into this, like Zach, you do for like every single movie, and we're trying to find a symbolism for the monster segregation that we have and see with Mike. In my mind, Sully has like the clear privilege of being born into a world where he can very easily be successful, not only because of his name, but because of the way he looks. And Mike was born into it being cute as all hell, which is great in our world, less good in his. And it just, a movie just showed, hey, you can try to like push against the system, but sometimes the system just is too damn hard to push. And
If the two movies together is such a great arc.
he didn't find his niche. That's the thing. He didn't find his niche in this movie. You can't say he did. He ended in a freaking gallery.
Ended where he like didn't know he wanted to be, but he's happy there now. He's a part of it. He's a part of the best scare team in the world. And also
Just happy because he had one line saying he was happy. You wouldn't say he's happy anywhere else.
I disagree with that. My biggest dream in life is to be a filmmaker. I can't do that. I'm making YouTube videos. I'm fucking happy with that.
I think that's valid. I'm sorry. I get where you're coming from with that point. Go ahead, Sky.
So I actually disagree with your one point because what your one point is, Mike worked hard, but just wasn't it just based off of natural ability and how he was born, right?
And this movie
Sully,
on no success.
Sully in this movie found success just because of his natural talent.
He scared adults.
No, I wouldn't say like conversely that Sully found just because of natural talent. He found it because of Mike's support. What?
Okay.
I said my scared early adults.
Mike scared adults. Sully scared adults with Mike's help.
Sully would not have been able to do. Actually, that's not true. It's a fucking bit.
Well, he was like scratching. Wasn't he like scratching the walls and stuff like that?
Yeah, he like shot out.
Like
With the line, fishing line, the things, and like pulled him across the ground and stuff. I
was supposed to have done it without Mike in that room, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so he couldn't have done it without Mike.
I would have done it with Mike without Mike in that room.
He could.
Like,
$1 billion.
I think he could have.
Skylar,
Like,
as a kid, you were scared of a bear.
I'm not arguing the point that I wouldn't have been scared.
There's no screaming without Sully in that room, and you could have taken Mike out and still had someone else do the prep, or just have Sully do the work that Mike was doing, really, or someone else.
But he's a personality hire, Austin.
And I've swapped Mike with a lot of the other, or not Mike, Sully.
Mike has great knowledge.
And the Roar strat, and it would have done the same thing because of Mike's setup. Like,
I think Sully's like irreplaceable in that scene, and I think that's part of the problem is because of his stature, because of his roar. Like, he needed to be there for that, and he needed Mike's help to get to the point where they were that afraid. But like, Sully used his very clear privilege in the scaring world to their advantage, as he should have. But
didn't the president of Roar do better at scaring on the scare meter?
Yeah, did so.
he might have done.
So
He might have been. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Fair.
yeah, so wouldn't that mean he could be a potential replacement?
That's a great point, Skylar, because we needed like the scariest guy and like a relatively smart guy, and it could have just been any of the two.
Yeah, like I feel like it's but you're like if you find somebody who's comparable to Mike, you could replace him and help Sully. But if you find somebody comparable to Sully, you can replace Sully and have Mike help them, and it would have done the same thing. But
Yeah.
IQ, Skylar? Help.
I don't know.
Like the Satyrs.
Yeah, the setters and the hit.
Okay, for a second I wasn't. Okay, yeah, yes. So that is what I'm going with. You threw me off a little bit because it was just kind of out in the open. But yes, I get what you're saying, and yes, that's kind of the ideology I'm going with here.
Oh yeah.
But my point that I was going to bring up is that both Mike and Sully did get kicked out of the program and didn't get invited back in because Sully didn't care. He relied only on natural talent, and Mike didn't have any natural talent and relied only on academics. So wouldn't that kind of... I'm going to be honest, I forget your point at this point.
I mean, I don't disagree with anything that you've said.
Dude, we've been on these topics way too much. We've talked about my notes. We're about 30 minutes in.
Go ahead, no, Chan's gotta go.
like devil's advocate and continue on this subject. Let's go without Mike. Without Mike, I don't think it would have been like it was, or could ever have been like it was. He literally. Well, he took advantage of the adults' weaknesses. He is the guy that, knows he'd memorized the flat yards and what to do given certain circumstances. He knew how best to scare Mike. Sully could never have done that by himself.
I agree. Let me just say one thing. I'm more saying from an on-the-field type of perspective. Like, if you look at a game in, like, football or any other sport, really, and you say, okay, that quarterback performed incredibly well with that play. And you can also say, okay, well, it was the coaching that got him there. Like, yes, that's true. Like, the play was come up by the coach, and that's like a really important part of it. But Mike also happened to be on that field playing a minor role in that. I think the direction of what happened in like all the setup, 100%, I'm going to give that credit to Mike. I'm not saying he's not a genius in that way. Like, he's doing great. But like, you could have just had another small character doing the setup
and to tell other two monsters to go attack them instead of.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm just saying. Like, he could have directed more and had a less of a direct role actually executing. That's what I'm saying. He didn't succeed really.
Yeah, that's
like it was just kind of a continuation of what he had already done. We can move on from this.
I thought of something for your other point much earlier.
One earlier too was to be happy, right?
Yeah, happy. That's a.
Because actually, I have to say, yes, I didn't say anything about happy yet, and that's exactly what I was going to tie in. What else going on?
We just did.
Yeah, but you said like throughout this movie, other than the fact that he says he's happy, you would not think he's happy, right?
Oh, he didn't succeed, and at the end of this movie, he didn't succeed in any meaningful way.
But that's just his big goal, was to get back in the scare program and be the top scare, high honors, all that. That was his big goal. But there were so many small things that he got going through the entire time that I think he actually was happy. Like, you can't say in the movie, whenever he's outside training them, that he is not happy. He's running through the flashbacks. Yeah, Zach.
It's like after each individual season of One Piece, Luffy isn't the Pirate King, but he still accomplishes many goals from season to season, you know? Like,
but One Piece is going to finish, though, is the thing. It's continuing. I'm saying this
scarer. I'm saying, like, he did not become a scarer. He did not. I mean, the first movie, Austin. Oh my God.
Zach, you're the one who's saying a movie has to stand alone. No, it's not. I'm being so serious with this. You're the one who said a movie has to stand alone. And I'm saying Mike did not have a complete character arc. And I get that you love this movie, but he didn't.
I just didn't agree with that. He learned that he's not going to be a scarer, and he just is going to help Mike. Teamwork is the dream work.
Was it whenever you were sitting on like that edge where you're just kind of like by himself alone? I feel like he had a coming to moment where he realized he can't be like Sully
because he tried yelling and it didn't work.
Yeah, so I think there is
that happened.
Yeah, there is some learning going on here. I feel like it's like he's kind of understanding his place in the world and what he can do in terms of scaring kids. Like he still get involved as like that support character. I feel like he finds peace in that.
Exactly.
But the support character. All right, another thing.
I am a support character, Austin.
No, Zach. No, I'm saying in that world, what was the reference to the support character? Because I think it's a very critical role, and I think it matters a lot in this universe. Where is the reference in Monsters University? Because there's no backup plan. The backup plan is go design canisters.
Right.
So, like,
I'm thinking maybe he invented the role. Because, like, one of the newspapers we saw at the end was, like, surprising new recruits or something like that. But, like, the only person shaking Waternoose's hand was what's it called?
I think the surprising new recruits might more so play into the Dean saying Mike keeps surprising people.
True, but Rick also wasn't like a part of the Scream.
I do like the idea that he did create the role, but I also would play to the point where I don't know if anybody else could necessarily do his roles. I don't think anybody else is like on his level of like understanding the world. So I don't know if they could reference it because they didn't show us a character who wasn't scary that was in the Scares program, literally at all. That's like there's not even a reference to anybody else from who's my Kappa, because I actually looked up afterwards to see if any of them made it into Monsters Inc. and had any role, but I do not believe any of them were there. Some people theorize that the only person who it was the one with two heads, that they're the only one that probably could have even attempted to pass the exam. But
that was terrifying.
Harry, that was the scariest one out of people that went. That was like very. If the kid is awake and they see the door open up and just a human walks in and then they split down the middle, I fucking scream. That terrified me as an adult, bro. It's like, that is scary, dude.
Can I jump back on that though?
Yes.
That's exactly my point, Sky.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry, I'm happy in both sides.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm just saying, I just want to say that was my point.
Full. Yeah, and I do think that's a good point that literally nobody else made it. So like, it was McCappa didn't make it. So despite getting back on the scare program, it meant nothing.
Yeah.
But it was also never like supposed to be for them.
Right.
And Mike and Sully just needed a way to try and get back and to prove that the Dean was wrong. And
Mike has
to a point.
Not everyone does.
To a point, Sully proved the Dean wrong when he got kicked out. Because he did scare. And he was second.
He didn't do anything though. Mike was the one who enabled him to do it.
Yeah, because he learned. But I would say it's more so Mike or Sully started realizing that Mike's like Mike's lack of natural talent and focus on academics is like balancing him with his natural talent, and Sully realizes he needs to learn something and kind of like be like, okay, I gotta understand, and then I gotta like know what to do.
Analogy.
He does not have to. I'm just gonna say,
Yes, we wouldn't be able to do the shorts without Skylar helping me out. Sully doesn't want to study and know all the different tactics, so he has Mike study and know all the tactics for him. I don't want to rewatch the podcast and get the clips, so I have Skylar do it for me. It's the same thing, you know?
it is.
Mike does.
But whenever you have an entire movie showing one that Sully needs to put in the work and needs the knowledge behind it and not just the talent. And at the end of the movie, he decides, actually, I don't need to do that. I can just rely on my friend who's a failure and can't succeed on his own to do it for me.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? Because at the beginning, he thought he could do it all on his own. So character growth.
Talent.
He shouldn't be able to do it on his own. Like, that's... He does an effort. Like, it's... Like, let's be honest. Like, it's not that hard. Like, it's just memorizing, like, what kids are afraid of what. Like, he can do that on his own, and Mike has a talent in that area, like, man, goes beyond that, and I'm not trying to discredit that. But Sully didn't grow throughout this movie except to be nicer, which I'm fine with that, and I like that character arc. But, like, he didn't realize that he needs to put in the work and learn by himself. He just learned that he can just rely on other people for that.
But he did learn.
Play into your strengths.
He did learn, because the scare thing, he read the card and Mike was like rooting for him, saying, you got this. And then he did exactly what he did. Said his normal scare thing that he got yelled at for in the scare program. He didn't do the same thing. He did a different tactic and went through based off of the cards. And then went in and got the, second highest scare.
You know what card said, though? Did we see?
It was like Kansas something. It was vaguely similar to the first one he had whenever you sail out the team, but not that close.
He was scared of lightning and lions. He didn't have to do any practice at all. He just was. He picked up and then roared.
Yeah, his roar is going to be like lightning as
What are you saying here?
That just luck.
How is he not just here? I'm sure. Really saying that, Skylar, it's just a shame that they literally gave him a softball.
Yes. And the point is, wasn't that he just was able to do what he wanted. But the point is, he looked at the card, he read the card, and was like, oh,
yes,
do I attack this? And it's like, oh, so I perfect match.
Sure, I do.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that it actually was a perfect match. But like, there is a world in which that is not a perfect match, and he actually reads the card and understands. So
If he understands,
what do you understand?
we won't know. I'm sorry, Jim, what'd you say?
yeah.
What do you understand?
Sure, no.
Because Mike's not.
I'm going to say yes, because that helps my point. And there's no way, one way or the other. So I'll just say yes.
You are correct. Yeah, you're right.
Because he was outside with Mike doing his little training, doing push-ups and answering Mike's questions, and he got some of them right. So he learned something.
He doesn't need to get it right. He needs to look at the page. I think looking at the page is the character development in and of itself. Because, like,
I thought so too. It was unfortunate.
He's not someone that's going to memorize everything because he can't.
I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think there's anything in this movie that makes you think he's an idiot.
I think as an idiot is a little harsh.
You're right.
I think it's
He's not
idiot.
Mike. He's not nearly.
I think he's either average or slightly below.
Yeah. I think that's totally,
I think the issue is that he doesn't try, though. We haven't been able to see his intelligence at any point. And actually, I would argue he seems kind of smart. Like, destroying the, like, thing right before Mike goes up and having Mike go last and then fixing it in a way that makes it look like it's kind of on high.
Right.
Like, there's a multiple points in this movie where it seems like Sully's smart. And just that he doesn't care enough to try. And he never does.
And that's fine. I feel like that's just
reading a card, I think, still should.
He's never going.
Still should read the card.
He never wants to. It's not.
I'll give you a reading card.
Reading card feels like he's
a
trying.
huge thing because it shows that he's making an effort to change.
And the waking up at 6 a.m. with light to start studying. That's
Honestly, I shouldn't say there's no.
reading that card. There's no.
Like we're giving him props for doing it.
But he didn't do this for it. Showed him not doing even any work at all. He just showed up to class and just went.
He didn't even have a pencil.
He didn't have a pencil. That's parts, bro.
Reading the card, I think I don't want to talk for you, Chan, but in my mind, that's a step towards growth.
Yeah.
Like, I will give you
I
that.
watched 1 year
But
of
that's the end of the movement. Like, the end of the movie. Like, I'm saying we never get to see him.
It's like one baby step, bro.
Yeah, like, dude, like, man has had his whole life given to him with zero effort put in whatsoever from his name, from his stature, from the entire world, just coddling him like he's a giant blue baby. And the man gets credit for, like, reading a card.
your entire personality in 1 year. I feel like that makes it's inaccurate for him. I feel
He was supposed to be changed by the end of this movie, is what I'm trying to say. They tried to make it so that he was the Sully at the end of this movie that he started Monsters Inc. with. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say.
no.
If you want to disagree,
I'm saying I don't like it. I would prefer. I feel as though they end off with him continuing his development into what he becomes into Monsters Inc.
I agree with Zach here.
I think it's
And I also kind of think that I see like we see, well, I think we see like maybe some growth that can lead you to get the one. I mean, again, it's the guy's been coddled his entire life. He doesn't have to try. He gets everything without trying. Why would he start trying? So, and then he starts trying like however long into his first semester at college. So he immediately started trying, and then he went to the mailroom, and then obviously had to try more. So they kept moving up, so they kept having to do something. They kept having to work.
we don't know what happens though.
And you can say, well, you have to don't go to the mailroom to a scare just because you're really good at filing mail. You got to try something.
Yeah,
It might have been because they were really good at filing mail. That's the thing. We don't know.
If this guy's really good at filing mail, then the abominable snowman should have probably been there. But like, we don't know, and that is a fault to the movie. But at the same time, I feel like completely saying that he can't develop, despite even taking a couple baby steps in this. Like, I feel like you don't need to see all his development to know how he got there.
also I feel like Sully is the B development and Mike is the A development in the movie.
Yeah, I also think that too.
Chandler, say something.
Words.
Oh damn! I wanted you to say something, dude. Come on.
So I do have my one question.
What the fuck?
Oh, that's Chandler first.
You're asking him. I see works that aren't related to like favorite, least favorite, funniest, or anything like that. We've just been on 2 notes the entire time.
I literally have like 2 more notes and 2 of them are questions. And then the other was just, I think I like this movie more than the first one. So now I only have 2 other notes. So,
Hit you.
so let me reread my note. Okay. So, in this movie, imagine that like the answer isn't just because it wasn't invented yet. Imagine that. So because it wasn't invented yet is not an answer in this, please. So if they knew that scaring adults created more scream, why would they keep trying to scare children? Do you think it's because of practicality? Do you think it's something that's like what Mike and Sully did can't really be replicated? Or it's like too dangerous or anything like that? So because we notably see all the screen cans and that go up from only 6 adults. And 1 child can raise 1 can. So 6 adults raise much more than 1 can per person. So why don't they try to scare adults like Sully and Mike did than trying to scare children?
Chan?
I bet it's cool.
Chan? Oh, you said
So you think it's because of practicality? It's just so much harder.
yeah. Because they think they're radioactive and they're like, well, an adult can like think and shit. Like that person's going to attack me. And they're going to touch it. I'm going to die.
I think they haven't thought it this deeply.
And I see. Okay,
I have a point to back this up. I have a point to back this up, and I'm being negative on this movie. It's not consistent. It is not consistent with the logic because the door is flickering on. Why is that door flickering on? Can someone tell me why?
Yeah,
Like,
I really don't get it, man. Like that epic there.
No one screamed.
Yeah.
No one screamed at that point, and the door was flickering on.
Well, there's one where someone like went and it like
No, I specifically watched
I'm gonna be. I don't like that scene. I go really back
the flickering. So
to human world stuff because there's some bits in it I really like, and there's some bits in it I really am like, fuck, this is terrible. Honestly,
I don't think it's bad. I'm not knocking, but at least
I really hate that scene where Mike tries to scare the kids and no one is scared of him. Like, imagine that in real life. That would be fucking terrifying. It honestly would be so scary if a 6-year-old saw that beast go. "Rah." I'd scream. If I saw a raccoon at 6, I'd scream and run away. Like with a green.
I think like needs to be even cuter for that to make sense. Like he should just be like a fluffy little ball. Like
or like fall or like sail.
Yeah, exactly. Totally, Skylar. Like, look like an idiot.
I think his technique has to be good though. Like, if you want to build on what he's had the rest of this movie, you know,
it's a tough story. He's an actual scary monster. Like in a realistic world.
So your answer to mine is because the movie isn't consistent. That's why.
Yeah.
And screaming.
Answer if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, your answer was that it was flickering and that shit makes sense.
I was saying I use that as an example to show that they didn't think it through in too much detail. I think the door was flickering. I think that makes it seem like just their fear is what they get energy off of, and that has a lot of other interesting ways you can implications. It's not.
That's what I talked about last week. Remember? Because
I can stop that right there because the dean, whenever she was talking to Sully and said this kid would be afraid of snakes and would cry, which would alert the parents and not help us. So it can't be much.
Died in the first movie, and it caused their entire apartment complex to explode.
That stop your helping. That's so easy. It's like it ain't that serious.
Well, I don't like that scene. Also, I think that's probably my least favorite scene, other than the one that we talked about earlier, where they get kicked out. I think it's so stupid. Also,
Chandler, you said because of the practicality and the difficulty.
Yeah.
So, theoretically, the practicality and the difficulty, if they kept going at it, would the difficulty get easier because they'd have the setup and they'd have all the data like they do on the children. So would that make it easier? And if it is like multiple cans for just one, wouldn't that make it a better risk to reward? For them to get multiple cans for one instead of just banking on one for one, because you still could fail scaring a child.
Good question. You could look at the efficiency of this, I guess. But like, I feel like as you grow older, you lose fears rather than gain them. I feel like
honestly now there's more things to be afraid of. Things that's added. I think as a kid I was only scared of knives, but as I grew older, I got scared of like space and the ocean and stuff like that.
I feel like it's the opposite for me. Like those worst, like riddles.
Because I went from being scared of the dark to being scared of water.
I think generally more people are more afraid of things when they're a kid. Like I agree with you, Chan.
Fair.
So maybe says if that's the situation, let me go off of that. That's my argument. All right. As you get older, there's less things that you're to be afraid of. Maybe like you said, there's less things that I scare them with, and also just like. That's become more fear tolerant per se. Like when you're older, you like watching scary movies. As a kid, it's kind of out of your wheelhouse, right? But you kind of adapt to that as you get older. So maybe that's why it's too difficult.
You also need specifically monsters like Sully, because you need like something that's gonna fucking actually scare someone, not like just a creepy.
Unless it's like an outdoor person that's scared of a bear and they're scared of something else, like something like
I don't know. If there's a bear in front of my face, like he was,
That's my biggest problem. Because if any of them were grouped up together and a bear just comes up to you standing on back legs and goes, "Rah," like that's gonna fucking terrify anyone.
Yeah. All right, but hear me out. Weren't they like park rangers?
Yeah.
Like
yes. Oh, doesn't matter. What is? Oh, I'm not. The bear is right.
Chill out. In your guys' mind. A bear you're just assuming it's a bear because that's what like human mind can comprehend and not a giant polka dot monster.
Gun.
What does the park ranger do? Yes.
Yeah, guns.
That's my thing. On the fun side, and I'm going to stop being a cynical My theory is that they do not scare adults because the reality of the world is that monsters have created a peaceful utopia where there's no violence, but they're scared of humans because they have guns.
And that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Not everybody has one. And they would have the information on that, be like, oh, and so all this is
Excellent.
yeah, this the door. Like, we're not going back here. But
Rangers are not like camp counselors.
I think they were park rangers.
There were cop cars there.
Okay, that's right.
Also, with that scene in specific, I feel like them having a weapon on them made sense. But whenever they fell to the ground and had both their hands down, that was kind of the whole point of like getting them to the ground so they can't. Which I doubt might go because I doubt they have. I have no idea that those even exist.
Yeah.
So
What, guns exist? Or the.
I don't know if you know that because I don't think one was in the movie at all.
Well, of course it's not.
So there's no action. Yeah, there's no reason for me to think that they even know what that is.
Right.
That's why he tripping down, and it just happened to like help the like oh, they couldn't do that because they were already on the ground with the diplomas on the ground. But in reality, it's probably so they were looking up and they had like he's like big and intimidating. It's like overall.
I think
I have a secondary.
it's like the monster government is lying to us and telling us that they're toxic and they're bad and we can't scare adults. But in reality, it's because they have guns.
Big guns. Yeah.
No, I think I have an addendum, and this is going to bring us to another weird point. And I'm sorry, I've derailed this episode so much.
Okay, so badly, bro. I fucking get that.
You know what, man? Screw
Just say it. Just say it. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be weird. I think that monsters secretly have telepathic abilities that allow them to astral project.
Makes sense.
This is a repeat of last week. This is me going insane. You're going insane.
Could you please repeat yourself? I think I missed the words after. I don't even know what word. Please repeat yourself.
How did you get to that conclusion?
Okay, so astral projection. After you're telling me I didn't think too much about it.
I'm going from cynicism to absurdism, and that's how I'm explaining all of the gaps that I'm coming up with. Okay, and I am gonna point to a few things that make it very interesting as to how practically they could have that information. Okay, one being all of the information about the children. How do they know that? How do they know what they're afraid of? How do they know their experiences? How do they know any of that stuff? Zach, you can go and address that.
51, but with monsters, they're the government.
What focuses on astral projection.
They know that. They know that the government has control over it. Like, they know that humans aren't actually toxic, so they just kidnap kids and then did experiments on them until they were like, all right, this is the rule set. We're going to tell the rest of the monster universe.
I feel like it's like the door engineers, honestly. Because they say like, oh, I just spent so much time creating that door. So I think they have an idea where the door is going. Not because of astral projection. Not because of that. Because like, there are ways that like, you know something without actually having to see it. Like, you don't have to see something playing out to know like what's going to happen. And I feel like
a kid's going to be like afraid of snakes, though, if you're just peeking on them in their closet. And that's also a weird thing to.
That is a weird thing to note. But maybe they're like engineering the door for a person who is scared of snakes, and the door takes them to it's like a match. And it's like they build the door. It's like, okay, snake, we want somebody who's scared of snakes, lives in Kansas, and then scared of thunder and snakes, lives in Kansas, and then it matches the door with a kid who works.
The green
snakes.
What?
I feel like that's dressed as magic.
Into the
it's just kind of like the fact that they have like
that's what makes it snakes or whatever.
A store maker that can just arrange that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to believe that.
And I mean, it's either that or astral projection right now.
I have a second point. I have a second point. When Mike and Sully were at Monsters, Inc. in this movie specifically, and they were talking about the one scare, and they said specifically, his speed has gone, but his technique is still perfect, or whatever they say. How do you explain that?
That he's really good at scaring.
How do they know that?
How do they know that? He's famous. They said they collect rookie cards. They probably.
Because I wasn't as quick on that one, but I nailed it. That's
maybe just numbers. I mean, they probably watch.
Right.
Like, I'm assuming there's some way that they watch because there's cards about them. So there's cards. I'm assuming these cards.
How do they watch?
This is probably their sport.
Kind of thing. This isn't just monsters.
Just from the way they described it, this is their sport. They have rookie cards. They have veteran cards. So there's a way to watch and keep up with it. So I'm taking it the same as I'll go with your football analogy. There's a quarterback who's 20. He's faster on his feet, but whenever he hits his 30s, he's not as fast, but his throwing technique is still really good. So his scaring technique is exactly the same, but maybe he isn't as fast going to the child and starting up another child. But his technique, whenever he's with the child, is still really good. That's all the context that is absolutely wild. Monsters Inc. It's about Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. That's what the art is. It makes sense. Like his way, sort of like scaring the child is still like that part has not gone down at all. But he is slower, like going from door to door and going from door to like beside the child's bed in order to scare.
Yeah, I think Austin's dead, so we can just kind of move on.
I think so.
Next, related to the movie.
I didn't have many for the former or the prior as well as this one. Maybe we can get some like funny notes off. Or actually, you know what? I can walk us straight into okay. They were raced. Did you want to talk about their characters?
Is that okay? Yeah, I love the little guy. The characters are
I love Art. Art is my favorite. It was a toss-up between two characters on all of the movie. Art and the Glazer on the other fraternity. Guy that just had like little crowd.
Yeah,
I loved him too. He was saying something and the other guy was like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I liked it if Mike was like, oh yeah, and when we win, dude, they'll never let you forget it. And he goes, oh snap, that's a good point. I find that was actually funny.
Yeah. Left a little bit like you would say here or there, but Art is amazing. And one thing that he said was, I can't come. They're getting excited. They're at the monster. I can't come out.
It's so fun.
Is there a chance we can talk about this, let's say, in 15-ish minutes?
I would love to talk about specific info.
Okay.
We
wanted to move on to the subject.
We're talking about the rest of it. Okay, just specifically because I think all of us might have some words associated to that guy.
Okay. Do you guys have anything you want to say about okay? Well,
yes, dude.
Zach.
I like the little guy, like Squishy. I think it's funny. They didn't go by the rule of 3 where it's like you got to introduce his ability in 3 times. I did it in 5 times actually, but I appreciated it. I thought it was fun that every time he just kind of popped up somewhere random. And Terry, I enjoyed Terry's gimmicks, and like I talked about earlier, I think he's the scariest monster in the movie, like just hands down, but like without a doubt, because it's conceptually terrifying. Skylar, imagine being a child and you see your parent walk into your room and then their head splits. Like that would fucking terrify me. Like,
don't get me wrong, this would scare me. Yeah, that is, but it's more of like the concept of the idea is scary.
Yeah,
but like solely is so more traditionally scary. So like it really depends on like your type of scary.
Yeah.
For him. But yeah, I do agree. He is scarier than the movie like actually plays it. And for him being that's what the movie actually plays him being scary pretty well. But
and Terry with a Y.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I like them.
Yo, can I ask a real question actually? I'm gonna derail a question actually.
I saw the show for Dex.
I'm sorry. I think we're out of time out. I'm being quiet for a little while.
No. I'll find out, dude.
Damn it, I was requested. Oh my god.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what happens after the monster scares a child? Like for those like 5 to 10 seconds, what do they do?
Dance.
They're like, all right, well, thanks for the scare, the scream. I gotta go. Bye. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Well, the kid probably runs out of the room, and then the monster just kind of casually walks out of the room at that point, probably.
What about post-air therapy from the monster? Yeah. Yeah, they can't use the same door over and over again. That kid's gonna go insane. Oh,
That's the point. They want the screams. Well, I'm sure they don't do it like every other night. I'm sure it's just like random.
Yeah.
It's not like. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say we can start transitioning into our 3 favorite scenes in the number. There were 2 things I wanted to say beforehand. I like the pig a lot. I think he's funny. And then I wanted to bring this up separate from my least favorite scene because it's not my least favorite scene, but it irks me when the dean goes, my one souvenir from a lifetime of scaring when talking about the thing, but she didn't have it like in a pedestal, like any sort of protection on it at all. It just was such a dumb and very obviously put there so that the plot can move forward. And it just kind of irked me in a way that I didn't like. But I could also see someone talking about it in a better light. So it's not my least favorite.
I think you have a good point on that. If it was really that important, she would have a little bit more safety precaution, but she probably also doesn't think people are going to be like messing around to that point. But like at the same time, you don't know.
It just was. It didn't even have anything so that the canister can stay on the pedestal. Like it's not even like he knocked the pedestal. Did he even knock the pedestal?
Some plexiglass over that.
Honestly,
I think he hit the pedestal. The pedestal didn't fall, but the thing fell off.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so dumb.
I liked how they showed it as like a propane tank.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Or what in the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was creative.
I also liked how the only other part in that scene that I enjoyed was that the dean like cut Mike off half a second into him acting into his thing. I thought that was like kind of well timing. I thought it was kind of funny about that. But everything else, I just was like, this is plot stuff. Not a fan. Mm. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. Who wants to start off with their 3?
Austin, let's kick you out of timeout. Let's get this going. Bring it up.
Okay. Let's see. What's the order? So we're doing favorite, least favorite, and then funniest.
Yeah.
And score.
And then
and score. Oh shit. Okay. All right. I guess I'll start with funniest. I think because I was between a couple scenes. I liked. Actually, I'm not going to say them because I don't want to take anyone else's. I'm just going to go with Squishy's mom. I thought she was like the best part of the movie.
Yes, sir. I was not expecting to say that. It's awesome.
Is there a question? I
was like, specifically when she was in the car and she's like, I'm going to listen to my music. It's just like, I've seen this movie so many times where I'm like, everything is funny, yeah, but it's hard for me to differentiate like how like funny things are when you know what the joke is.
Yeah.
I still found that hilarious. And also when Mike was like, well, I should say when they were all trying to get away and Mike just took over the car, I like specifically looked at her face and like she literally got bodied out of the way. Like Mike was driving, like cops were chasing. She's like, she's fine with it. Like okay, yeah, she's there for the vibes, man. She's there for the vibes. Great frat house mom. Yeah, so I think that I'll say that one was my favorite. Quick side note, I don't think this is going to be what anyone else's. Whenever the two, I think it was Terry, spanked Sully with the like paddle thing, and then he just immediately snapped it. It was just really quick. I didn't think that would be my funniest, but I was like, I love that one. I'll go with favorite because I want to end on least favorite. I think my favorite was that line whenever Mike was like, or when the Roar Omega Roar guys were like, when you lose, no one will remember you. And then like Mike's like, oh, when you lose, no one will let you forget it. I feel like that's a basic one. But that's definitely probably the one that has, I guess, stuck with me the most after watching the movie. And I think that that's a good point. Very profound line from like a kid's movie. And then least favorite, because I have a bit to say about this, is that not last scene, but the last scene in the human world with Mike and Sully. When they're having that conversation and Mike's like, you don't know what I'm going through because the entire world has been built to make me unsuccessful, and I've struggled my entire life and worked really hard. And then Sully's like, no, you don't understand because I'm lazy and a failure. And then he's like, damn, I didn't know that. Like,
That's fair.
I thought that was good. I thought,
boo-hoo.
yeah, like I get that you're a failure, Sully, but it's purely due to a lack of effort. And I know that we've said that like he's just not smart, but I don't think there's enough to really say that. Like I think that at very
I
least,
think maybe his parents were like,
no, yeah,
so we're gonna not parent you all that much, and then he just
no, and I think that's true. Like for like most like spoiled kids, is like they've just like been coddled their whole life, and like I think he's responsible for his own success or failure the same way everyone else is, except that he living in a world that is catered to him. Like I just don't think that that should have been like the climax to the emotional plot of the movie, and I had a rough time like with that. And like I think that conversation it should have been more Mike focused. I think Sully should have been more of an empathetic friend that explained kind of what he's experienced rather than mine's worse than yours and you should understand me. And I don't know. I don't think that made a lot of sense for like the really finale of what this movie was getting towards with Mike's story. So yeah, that was my least favorite. Overall, I've been very negative this episode. I am sorry about that. I really have enjoyed this movie. I normally when I watch it, I'm less critical. And I think for the podcast, I'm just like, okay, I need to examine it very, I don't know, just critically and try to find issues with it. And I found more than I was expecting to find, at least in my opinion. But that doesn't take away from my like enjoyment of the movie. It was a great movie. I think it was a lot funnier than the first one. I do think some of like the continuity issues are a little bit of a, I don't know. I want to say like red flag, but they take me out of it a little bit. But I still really, really enjoy this movie and enjoy the story they took us through. So I'm giving this a 7.
valid. Yeah, popcorn someone.
That's a good score.
Okay, Popcorn Chan.
I thought that I was higher though.
Already.
Say, brother, I'm gonna be honest.
I know at this point. I'm sorry.
Is that higher than your first?
No, it's like I was like an 8.5. I think last week. That's yeah. I rated it high, and I still like this movie. But yeah.
Okay. I want to get what I don't like most out of the way. They're bickering, like their fight, which led to that canister falling, and I hated all of that. Like so I've seen this beforehand, and like a lot of things back coming to me, like as the press. And then when I realized this was about to happen, like I wanted to take a bathroom break and not pause the movie. I don't know. It's just so unnecessary. Like, who would ever do that in the middle of class or like, cause a scene like that? No one would. So like, I'm just cringing so hard during that. Not a fan. I feel like they could have done something maybe a little less awkward than we'll fight in the middle. So yeah, at least that was my least favorite. Funniest? You're right. There is so much that's funny. Pick. I got a good chuckle during the first race of the Scare Games. Sorry.
It's okay. Keep going.
With like those almost like sea urchins. I thought those were really funny. What they causing those like amalgamations. I thought that was so. So I definitely forgot about that. Like just your name going off. You a marshmallow, bro. Oh, that was good. There was another one that got a good chuckle, but I won't say that as what hope saves for you guys. What's that leave? Funniest? No, that was favorite. Yeah, favorite. Because you can call me a sucker and that I'm basic in this regard. I like the very ending where they both got to culminate their strengths here at the adults. I liked how it played out like a Rube Goldberg machine in a way. One thing happened that led to another, then now they're on the ground. So, call me a sucker, I guess.
Oh, no.
I look forward to that. It was a good thing.
Thematically, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, just where it all comes to. I appreciate those moments. So yeah, in terms of the number, and I'll give you my Monsters Inc. I thought that was a 7.5. I really like that film. There's really nothing I can say bad about it. This one, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's slightly better. I liked it that much more. I love the world. I love the world that they created. I feel like there's still so much they could do. Like now, if they didn't include any of that mailroom to Monsters Inc., they might have been able to fit something in their training program that gets them to where I might actually like to see something like that. I think of it. So I like their universe, what have you. Oh, and oh my goodness, I must say for the first film, I want to ride the roller coaster. Seeing those doors go through like the tracks and lanes. Oh my gosh. But I think there either is one built or they're building a Disney roller coaster like that. To skate, and you go up to connect to the track, like as a door in a way. I can't wait for that. So for those reasons, I'm giving this one an 8. So I leave it better. So all right, we'll go popcorn and sky.
Saving the best for the rest, I see.
Yeah, we're gonna see how many more reviews I can take. So I'll start off with my favorite scene, which I vaguely mentioned before, and I'm glad nobody else mentioned it. But mine deals with Squishy, and it's whenever he does the scare, and he's just dead in the dead face in the corner, and the child turns, just
That's
that. Yeah, that one was so funny to me. That one stands out so much because it's exactly what he is. He's just a guy who's really quiet and can sneak up on you so much. And it was just so good. So I'm between this one. I put this one as my favorite, and I'm putting my funniest as my second favorite, because my favorite scenes in this movie are the funny ones, because I think it gives it a lot of the character of this movie. So my next one is with art that Chandler mentioned earlier. It's whenever they're running from the police and he goes, "I can't go back," and then starts a dead sprint. I laughed at that scene pretty hard. I knew it was coming because this is not my first time watching this movie, but it is still just so funny. All of the I don't know if they use a ton of models for this one, solely we talked about with Monsters Inc. But if they did, it is impressive how they got the facial expressions on him in the scene. And all his are they hairs? It is hairs, right? Because his also looked really good. So
really, 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 really small tentacles.
Ew. Can he control all of them?
Yeah.
But they're that was my funniest A, funniest B, and I just put my one that I thought was funnier as my favorite, and the other one is my funniest. And then my least favorite, and this is a bit of a nitpick, but it hasn't been mentioned yet. It's actually whenever Uzma Cappy gets invited to the party and they go and they're having a good time, and then Randall pulls the rope. I don't think it makes sense for Randall to do that. I feel his motivations for that are really weak.
Yeah.
It's really only because the cool guy said so. And that's literally it. He's still friends with Mike. At this point in the movie, Mike has only not done anything to him other than just still be alive in the scare games. So I feel him doing that is really weak. I think it would have made more sense for the claw guy to do it, or really a lot of these other ones that have been there longer. I don't think it makes sense for Randall to be the one to do it. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But I mean, that was kind of again, that's a nitpick. It could have, just me saying, it could have been another character
with Mike, you know?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's Mike just doubted him. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Yeah. So but at the same time, unless he's mad about that, which I feel he wouldn't be, he might live in the Roar House.
Yeah.
We don't know.
There. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I feel he should not have been the one to pull the rope. I also think if they were going to do that prank, they should have been way at the beginning instead of letting them get there and actually party. I feel if it was going to be a prank like that, they would just do it right out of the gate and get it kicked out and then keep going with the party. But you never know. I mean, I could see it either way. Again, it's more of a nitpick, but my real problem is Randall pulling the rope to really kick off the prank. But with this one, I'm going to give it I gave Monsters Inc. a 7.5. And I'm going to give this one an 8.5. I can definitely see how, I literally wrote down, I can see how this is a yearly watch for you, Zach. Because this movie's like vibe and atmosphere is just so entertaining and it's so nice. And like the rewatchability of this movie is really high. It's a lot of funny scenes. Like there are some continuity issues that, again, Austin has brought up and are very clear issues with the movie. But I still think enjoyability, if I'm rating this on how much I enjoyed myself during this movie, I'm still enjoying this movie like so much. And like looking into it, like really watching, trying to like pick out certain things I don't like and do like, I feel like there's a lot more that I really, really liked than I really didn't. Again, my least favorite still feels like a nitpick. And we brought up some other good points, but I feel like I'm really happy to nitpick this movie to take things away. So I feel like I should rate it like a point higher than Monsters, Inc. And then Popcorn.
Who could it be, Zach? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the fall vibes of this movie, but also this is going to sound really weird, especially since I started off my last segment saying the exact same thing. But a lot of the reason why this movie is a yearly rewatch for me is the score of it. I think the score in this movie is equally, if not better, than the first movie. I think they both are just absolutely incredible. The way that they mixed in the marching band to kind of feel into it is so fun during all the montage at the beginning of the movie, the end of the movie. Just listening to it makes me so happy. My favorite scene is probably this one was the hardest one. Either before the podcast or right at the beginning of the podcast, I said for the last like couple weeks, there's always just been one that I haven't been super sure on, and I think it's this one. But I think I'm going to commit to the second or third montage in the movie, the final one where they're like actually training for the scare games, because we see Mike and Sully develop a little bit during that way, and I think it's portrayed pretty well. With at the start them not being able to like properly get up and get dressed and stuff, and then at the end they're actually like in unison. And also we're seeing Mike train them, which is what he ends up doing in Monsters Inc., which I think is a fun little transition into his character, at least like the initial start into it. My funniest scene, Chandler, I appreciate you more than you know, is at the beginning of the first race where Art goes, where they're like, "Oh, you don't want to touch it." And Art goes, "I want to touch it." And then he talked about it. He goes, "I think I really want to touch him." And then he runs forward and he goes, and he like goes and hugs. Dude, I love Charlie Day. Either this or Pacific Rim are my first introductions into Charlie Day. And he's just like the funniest guy to ever exist on this planet. I love him so much. My least favorite scene, we've talked about it a bunch, but I think it's just the entirety of kind of human stuff. I think it wrapped around it a little bit. Whenever I said, "Oh, there's some stuff in this that I really like," it was the initial, like when Sully actually like roared. I thought that like looked really cool of him like digging deep and like getting really close to these humans and screaming at them. I thought that was really fun. And I used to be like, I really like the scene where Mike and Sully talk at the river. But honestly, I kind of agree with Austin. It definitely 100% should have been more Mike focused because the movie is about Mike. It's basically entirely about Mike. So I really wish that the crux of it wasn't Sully like yelling his non-existent problems at Mike. I wish it was them understanding each other a little bit more. I know that's what they were trying to show, but I don't think it was done necessarily as well. Which then leads up to like, I really hate it. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, I want to like this scene because it's conceptually cool, but I just don't, because it doesn't make sense for them to be moving around as fast as they are without making any noise and not destroying the roof as Sully jumps around from plank to plank as he fucking scrapes and jumps down onto the ground without making a sound and then does other shit. And I understand that they have fishing line and that's how they're able to like pull shit from across the room and have it fall and do other stuff like that. But there's no way that either of them are fast enough to be able to do any of the shits that they're able to do.
Don't start knocking my favorite scene here.
Yeah, excellent.
Good knock. Like, what about the rule of cool? I feel like that definitely falls underneath that.
No, just for me, ever since
Awesome.
I know it is awesome, but I'm blaming Kid Zach because Kid Zach was like, that doesn't make sense, and then that's just something that's persist all the way up until right now, and it still remains probably my least favorite scene in the entire movie. It like excluding the like obvious. It's a prequel scene at the very end of the movie, but yeah, that's probably my least favorite. Did I say all the three that hit the bases?
Funniest. And they said Art.
Art, And then my favorite scene was the montage. Yeah, I hit all the bases. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot. I think that even though the first one is technically amazing, by technically I mean like the actual making of the movie, not like technically this is an amazing movie. You know, it's but just and the creativity of the first movie is just on a different level, especially with the world building and just coming up with the idea of Monsters Inc. and this world is awesome. But something about this character driven story where just it's so different from everything I expected this movie to be. Like at every turn, it just like it builds up to what would be a cliche for a prequel, and then it tilts away from it. You know, like you think he's like, oh, I wonder who my roommate could be, and it's like, okay, his roommate's Sully, and it's Randall. Or then it just keeps doing that throughout the entire movie, and I really appreciate it. It just is a movie of subverting. I don't want to say it's a movie about subverting my expectations because it's definitely not. It's mainly just about the characters and watching Mike, and I really like Mike's story. I know I've mentioned it like 6 times, but him really wanting to reach his dream and then him hitting a wall and realizing, okay, maybe I can't do my dream, but I can do something close to it. I can get there. I can get right up to the edge of it. I can do as much as I can do with my dream. And then that connecting into the first movie where instead of it's not him not reaching his dream, it's him realizing that he just didn't have the right niche, and he then becomes like the entire crux of the energy and the rest of the universe. It just is really fun to me. I like this movie a whole lot. I'm giving this an 8.5, I think. This is a fantastic movie. One of my favorites. Sorry for that long-winded bit at the end there. I think that went for 4 minutes, just me talking. That was awesome.
That was out.
So that does bring our average to an 8 out of 10 for Mediak.
Awesome movie, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for bringing it down and bringing us up.
We nothing but consistent here.
Yeah. Hey, we love it.
Yeah, but I still feel
good.
Yeah, I feel pretty good with this one being an 8. I think that they should at least be within half a point of each other, regardless of which way you think one should be higher. They're both on the same level, I believe, of like enjoyment.
They're really fantastic. Say that again.
I'm going to feel bad about being as critical of this.
You still gave it a 7.
I know. I know. It's one number. We're going to talk about the Demon Slayer movie. And if you think 7 is a low number, you should wait until we talk about that a little bit further down the line. Okay. Let's talk about, you know what? This is really ironic because the first news is Demon Slayer worthy. It opened up to $33 million in the US, which is the highest opening for any anime movie ever in the US, which is insane. We love to see that. That's really great.
Yeah, that is great. Did you also get the news that it's not going to Crunchyroll like anytime soon, like not in 2025? Yeah, they're trying to extend it to like it's on streaming services for a while, and they said that because I think they wanted a longer theater release, so they said maybe 2026 it will be streaming, but not 2025.
I'm super okay with that because like keep in mind, okay, you know what? We can talk about it later, but I'll go slight bit of it right now. Animation was amazing. We had to wait 2 years for the next one. So as much money going into this as humanly possible. I'm fine with it being in theaters. As long if they can somehow speed it up or make it even look somewhat better somehow, that would be amazing. I'm all for it being in theaters for longer personally. Okay, next news is Warner Brothers has delayed Mortal Kombat 2, the movie, but they no, this is a good thing. They made a point. They said it was for money reasons. They said they had too many successes this year and they're sandbagging so that next year looks better. And they consider Mortal Kombat a flagship series and they don't have any more flagship series releasing this year. So they're pushing it into next year.
Do you have any other news regarding Warner Brothers?
Maybe. No, kind of.
I'm serious.
I'm relating to Matt really. What happened with Warner Brothers? I know they're like merging again.
This is going to be my weekly hearsay information news.
Yeah. Is this room?
But like it's from a TikTok, so like this could just all be BS, and I hope
it's not. It's true. It's TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. It's TikTok. I might do some research on this because this is a crazy thing to say.
Yes,
but apparently, yeah. I'll publicly come out and apologize for my lying if this ends up being false. But I saw something saying that like Warner Brothers was still actually in a lot of debt, like despite their successes this year.
Yeah.
And that they were possibly there were a couple companies bidding to buy Warner Brothers, and one of the major ones is Netflix.
That's not true. Definitively, that's not true because Discovery bought Warner Brothers 3 years ago. So
That is
because you knew that in the merger, right? It wasn't Warner Brothers buying Discovery; it was Discovery.
Oh no, I knew that, and like I said, this is totally hearsay, and I want to go through and see if there's anything, or I'm going to come back and say, "Hey, kids, don't believe everything you hear on last."
I'm maybe 99% sure that's cap because like there's no way Netflix has enough money to buy Discover Warner Brothers. There's no way that Netflix is also not doing right now too. They're not in the negative, but they're not like they're cutting even every year.
Yeah, not
K-pop success. That's what I was just about to say.
Well, K-pop is different, but Warner Brothers has had way more success this year than Netflix has had. They've only had K-pop really, and then Wednesday, but they're saying Wednesday's not performing.
I'm not crazy. This is from Screen Rant. This is from Screen Rant. Netflix reportedly planning on bidding to buy Warner Brothers.
It's not going to go through if it is.
Kids, believe everything you hear on that.
I don't understand. It false. You can't believe the internet. Let's go.
Yeah,
That's a big W.
No one's gonna lie to you. Go get that candy in that white van, kids.
I'm not sure if it's impossible. See, I'm not going to be like, oh, dude, I'll eat a shoe if wait, up there, I'm not, okay, ignore it. Whatever, get out of here. We're gonna can't say that. Dude, this is the Austin University. Anyway, you can't say that, Austin. I was just gonna completely ignore that, and then it processed for me. What the fuck? I was thinking about my. I don't remember what I was saying.
And all of a sudden, it's Candyman.
Where did that come from?
Oh, just like they lie to you and say that there's candy and maybe there's candy. Who knows? You gotta get
Your parents do that too. The theater. No, this is happening. I'm telling you right now. I'm not like confident enough that I'll say like I'll do something stupid if it happens, but like
we don't know if it happened, yeah, but it's being reported by fairly reputable companies. Like
that's fine that they're talking about it, but there's no way that that's actually going to play out. It just doesn't make sense. Company
crazy if it did happen though. Like and like
that would have to be one of those things that
like they wouldn't be reporting on it if it wasn't possible. Like why would that be the case? Like if
you say that's true, I would say like maybe they talked to someone from Netflix and that person was like, oh yeah, we're totally doing this. But like, that's such a big deal. That's onto the scale of Microsoft buying Activision. That makes it essentially like a movie monopoly. They'd have to bring that to like some sort of global summit for them to like prove to a court of I don't know what at that high. I don't actually know what they're.
I'm going to be honest. I would probably assume there's some corporate loophole. They would not do that knowing that they could get sued because of it. I'm assuming they left something.
Not a suing thing. It's the same thing that happened with. Do you remember the Microsoft Activision lawsuit thing? It wasn't like they got sued by someone. Someone within like the government of the world was like, all right, this is a monopoly if this goes through. So we're just going to have to do some checks and balances on it through the legal system to see if this is actually.
That's funny. You think those exist?
I know, honestly, not but that is a thing that actually happened. So you can look it up if you're interested in it. But like,
no, I know.
I think
like,
Netflix purchases something that big and that much control of media with their own control. I even if it does it with government. No, I'm not saying that it happened. It just happened, Austin. It literally just happened with Activision. Like,
but my question is, how different is that between Disney buying Hulu and owning Marvel? I feel like it's closer to that. So I feel like since that exists, they might think they're fine. What you're saying still could.
Marvel's a brand, and Hulu is also like.
Well, I is more so.
Or Discovery is an entire like company. It's different.
Pixar.
Okay, that's a good point. Never mind. Well, I mean, actually Disney bought Pixar well early on, though. They weren't even close to being a monopoly at that point.
I don't think that going from I get what you're saying, and it does happen, but like. Netflix is to the point where they do have a lot of influence, and like it's really just, can you get enough people on board with this to say it's not a monopoly?
Yeah, no, that's
It
fair.
doesn't matter actually
That's-
anymore.
Yeah, that's
Kind of what I was trying to say. Like, they definitely have an idea what they're doing is probably going to be fine. They wouldn't do that knowing that there's a chance that there's a lot of back.
And there's a lot of support working on this, like a lot. Like it's not just like
because even the Activision Microsoft thing, it still went through. They just had to prove that it was okay. Which is Austin was saying. Why are you?
yeah.
Well, because there's a chance it could not be okay. And that would be the big issue.
Again, this
That's like more so what
if it actually happens. And Austin, just because a lot of people report on it doesn't mean that it's like that doesn't.
You know, I know that I'm not that susceptible to misinformation, but like I am.
This shows is true, actually.
No, I'm just like, it was some random dude I saw on TikTok, and I was very debating on saying if that was going to be the case. And I look it up, and there are like 12 headlining articles about it, and it's from, I mean, it's from, but it's like Yahoo, Collider, call it, yeah, Screen
I'm
Rant.
not asking the real question. If this happens, what happens to HBO Max and Netflix? Do they merge?
What happens to these? Like,
Oh,
like, what if they just don't have anything? That was the TikTok like that was talking about. Is like they probably won't have theatrical releases then.
Yeah.
So like, no reason to go into this too much in detail.
Probably not even going to happen, at least in this decade.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is just now hearing about this, it's going to go into effect like in a couple of years. So this is one of those things that we can't even really talk about it now.
Yeah, but also it's good. There's still other people more than likely bidding on them as well. So like, there's gonna be a point where Netflix is like, it's not worth this, and somebody else might get it. So
Warner Brothers is interested in selling right now. I think that since if they're confident enough to push Mortal Kombat into another year, then I think that
that can be to prove it.
they're also probably confident in DC.
You could be like, they're prove it. Like, if Mortal Kombat flops, we need to sell. And if it does do good, we don't need to. So opening up, it's a closing bid, depending on Mortal Kombat success.
That was Superman. And then Weapons and Sinners ended up being like gangbusters. They're doing insane this year, money-wise. Their big bet was like, we just need Superman not to flop and we're going to have a good year. And they had like $2 billion movies, which is insane. They're not actually $1 billion movies. They're close, but you get what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, but there are a ton of other like business aspects that might be causing the success not to be what the success actually is.
Yeah.
So
maybe just
I'm assuming movies are probably doing well, but other business aspects could be doing bad. So maybe selling overall business because of the movie success. That's the only reason people would even bid on it. So
totally, yeah, no, I definitely see that. Hey, we're talking about this a little bit too much for something that's probably going to happen in 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want that to be a side note, and like that.
No, that's okay.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah. Just Chandler.
What's up with everybody stealing my flip right now?
The fuck, dude?
First Chandler, then Zach, Austin. If you take my what we watching again,
He's gonna be pissed.
boy oh boy, am I flying down to your apartment?
The next news is related to Chandler. So we got a full schedule for Lord of Mysteries. They plan on, after the success of the first season, they plan on fully adapting every single one of the novels. We have estimated release years, not months or something like that. So season 2 is apparently coming in. What was that, Austin?
I said, oof. Like, you're like, estimated.
Just wait.
You might be like, plus or minus.
Final one comes out. The year of the final one is insane. So season 2 is coming out in 2027. Season 3 is in 2030. Season 4 is 2032. Season 5 is 2033. Season 6 is 2034. And the movie is going to release in 2035. And the movie's going to finish it. That's
so the whole decade of releases.
Yeah. You have to wait a decade for the show to be.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually going to probably finish all the book like 5 years go by. That's if they can translate them fast enough.
Yeah.
Because they only have 2 translated, right? So,
and
you might want to check for it.
And that's just an estimate. That's not including like if anything gets pushed back or something like that, which is always fun.
It's a good show.
I'm gonna save that news for last.
If you can understand it.
Seth Rogen continued going through things that he probably liked as a kid and is now putting a lot of money into. and he revived The Muppet Show, starring Sabrina Carpenter, which is interesting. Right now, it's just going to be something that returns in 2026 as a special. It's just going to be one episode. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's Skylar, you look holy right now. It's crazy.
I know. That's what I was looking at. Last episode, it was tuned up. It's too bright. I can't figure out what's going on here.
That's okay.
Like, always been blessed by God.
But he's doing this in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Muppets. So that's definitely fun. He's back.
Got it.
All right. I don't know. Both of these things are kind of tough. Like one's interesting, one's sad. Listen to the sad one first. Okay. So the actress who played Aunt May in the first Spider-Man trilogy, Rosemary Harris, she passed away a couple days ago at the age of 98. That is really sad, obviously. But in 98 is insane. That's really impressive. I hope I get to 98. Actually,
I don't.
He's clocking out of that place.
No one gets to 98, man.
That is so. You know when you said forever ago? Not forever ago. You said 50, bro.
God says never know. Shit.
We're on the same page. Let's say now.
Hey, that great comic run, the New 52. I want to hit there. That's the goal.
I think it's for quality of life. I think if I can't jump off the ground, then just put me in the ground,
I'm going to be able to hike still. If I can hike, then I don't want to move at all,
Yeah.
Like that. That's really...
I wouldn't want to be bedridden either, but I would hope that's not the case at age 52.
Hey, you never know. I don't know. So Matt Reeves was talking about the Batman 2, and he said that the villain in the movie is going to be a villain that has never been live action in movies before, which makes me think it's Hush, because there was like a leak a couple years back where they were like, he's thinking about talking about Hush in somewhat of the trilogy. And I think that would be interesting, especially if they do the modern reinterpretation of Hush, where it's like do you mind if I say it? People don't like it anyway, so I feel like it's important to say. Where like Hush ended up being the Riddler instead of Austin Thomas, something who actually Hush is. And I think that would be interesting because I feel like people would like that. The Riddler was really awesome in the first Batman movie, so having like the second movie be this guy who's wrapped up in bandages who we have no idea who he is. And then in the third movie, we find out it's the Riddler. I think that would be somewhat interesting. Austin does not like that.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Maybe he's just a villain.
Yeah, I think
it's the same thing. Like, but like, it's not going to be revealed. And I know that that's like just kind of an issue with comic book movies.
Gosh, I think that would be a very interesting reveal.
Well, people would know, like, as soon as they see a dude in bandages. Like, I just don't think... I've heard that it was going to be the Court of Owls, and I think that would be a lot cooler than Hush, because, like, I think the point of the new version of Hush is that, like, he becomes, like, someone who's so antagonistic to who he was initially, and this version of the Riddler is basically Hush. Like at this point,
that's actually super fair.
It's like, oh, he's gonna come back and he's gonna be even more gritty and it's gonna be even more dark. Yeah, he's more insane. Yeah, that's why I'm against it. I won't go into it.
Never mind. I take my point back. That's a really great point, actually, because the Riddler's. I'm saying you guys know this. I'm saying this for the audience. The Riddler's normally like a really smart, intelligent, not like socially inadept, crazy man like he was in the Batman. And the version of Hush that the Riddler turns into is, like Austin said, almost exactly like the Riddler in the Batman. So yeah, I don't know about Court of Owls though. I feel like I would prefer more of a build up. Like I would love
I would agree.
Court of Owls trilogy. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool in my opinion. Especially with all that needs to be built up to have that comic like actually be adapted into like an accurate story. There's so many live action Batman villains. I have no idea who they can use. Really. Like other than those two, essentially.
Is James going to have any oversight on this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he does. He's just giving him freedom to like let Matt do what he wants.
That's why I did this. Like he could, but I think he said that he's just letting Matt Reeves write whatever.
It's like a manager approving your PTO that isn't a dick.
Yeah.
Like, just let me know.
Yeah, exactly what Austin said there. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. My biggest worry for this movie is that the cinematographer left. Because like the cinematography of the first movie is fucking beautiful. And I'm really upset that he left to go work on the Beatles movie. It's just like, why? Come on, dude. The Batman 2 is going to look so much cooler. But I get where he's probably coming from. He's probably like, oh, I already did a Batman movie. Let me go do this guy that I like, and I want to make it look really cool. So I totally get that. That's all my news, by the way. I'm out. Checked. Anything else? Skylar, you have some news?
Yeah. Oh, not so much as, unless we want to talk more about the Demon Slayer Crunchyroll, let's like thing. Because I actually don't know if I'm a fan. I think it would do much better if it actually was streaming. It's definitely not going to be in theaters like in December. So I feel like they're missing out on a big opportunity.
I agree and disagree with that. So like, I totally get what you're saying. Like initially people are going to watch it a lot more, but if you hold it out, like think about movies back in the early 2000s, they had 2 money-making windows. Whenever the movie first initially dropped in theaters and 6 months later, whenever it became a CD, because people after 3 months were like, oh man, I really want to rewatch that movie. And they start building up hype and they're like, I'm really excited for rewatching the movie again. And then when it finally drops for a second time, it's like in a second big boost of enjoyment for this movie.
Okay, so your idea is they're going to re-release it in theaters like months later?
I wasn't saying...
Or never take it out?
I think they're going to, instead of having... Because movies nowadays tend to have like a 1-month lifespan in theaters. I don't know for sure. I'm going to guess that they're going to give this a 3-month lifespan. And that will bring it to the end of 2025. Start us in 2026. Maybe like 2 or 3 month gap. And then they put it on Crunchyroll.
3 months is crazy though for an anime movie. Like,
no, that's a lot. You're right.
There's no way that there's like it costs money to put it in theaters. I'm like, there's no way people are going to be watching it as their Christmas movie.
No. At least definitely in America, maybe in like other.
Yeah, in America, if it's
I think an estimated February for it being on Crunchyroll is fine. And also, if you want to watch it, you can. There's a jillion other pirated versions out there that are really high quality. What my buddy that I went to go see it with, he filmed the first 30 minutes on his phone. Thought that was funny. I mean,
they're basically getting arrested because you said that.
No,
yeah.
He turned over and he was like, bro, this shit's too long for me to do this to me. He turned it over.
Workout, you know? Like,
should have brought a tripod. Just could have left it there.
No kidding, bro. It was really better.
All right. But I have one more thing, not news related.
Okay, yes.
Zach.
Yes?
What have you been watching?
All right, we're going to use this as the opportunity to talk about Austin. Have you seen the Demon Slayer movie?
I'm going to take my headset off.
Yeah, wait for a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. All right. I don't know. Like, I liked it a lot. I think that there were like pacing issues, obviously. I think 2 hours and 40 minutes is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, spoiler warning for Demon Slayers. We were talking about Infinity the Castle that just dropped. Sorry, I just want to get that out just in case.
We're capping it to 10 minutes. We're going to try not to talk a whole lot about it.
What?
We're going to go around, the three of us, just say some quick opinions on it, and then we can move on. All right. Well, you know what? Yeah. Quick summary and then a number. That's what we're going to do here.
I can. Okay.
Okay. So, wait, you're going first?
I can do a quick summary of the overall movie if you want to go.
Let's not do that. Let's save that for when we actually do the episode on it. Let's just get quick opinions and then a quick number. This is a definitive number because, like, I don't know, I saw it once after work one day. It's a very long movie. I think that it was really well done. I think it should have been quicker in certain parts. It literally was just an adaptation of the show with better animation. I think that if the animation stayed at the exact same level it had, but it was in a show version of it, it would have been significantly better, in my opinion. Because it really didn't work as a movie. It really just felt like 3 unconnected stories being told to each other. And I think that's, like, again, fine for a TV show, but it doesn't work as its own movie. And then, oh my God, Akaza's backstory should have been told. I think if they wanted to make it cohesive as a movie, have the movie start with Akaza's backstory, so then we see it end with him reacting to his backstory. I think that would have been perfect. But having the giant climactic moment happen, and then we watch 40 more minutes of movie that isn't even like well animated. Holy shit, dude. I turned to Blake, who's my buddy from work I went to go see it with. He's way bigger into Demon Slayer than I am. Like, he knows that shit like the back of his hands. And he turned to me and he goes, fuck, dude, I'm going to fall asleep. And I was like, oh, dude, I totally feel that, man. Like, this is really long and we don't even have anything to look forward to because we know this is the end of the movie. It's not even like, oh yeah, I can sit through this backstory so that I get the fight. But fuck, dude, the fight was so good. I think I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 because the animation is amazing, but it did not need to be nearly 3 hours long. And especially since it kept going into the credits. What the fuck, dude? Like that was
What'd you say down there?
It kept going into the credits. Like the fact that the credits rolled as the movie that's proof to me that you didn't pace the movie right, in my opinion. So,
yeah, you just start the animation into the credits. Yeah, sure. I mean, at that point though, they were just like running across like Infinity Capital. So
that should have been start of the next movie stuff. TLDR would have worked better as a TV show, but I'm happy they made it as a movie so that we could see the movie level animation. That's the end of my sentence. Popcorn, Skylar.
All right. So I'm going to do a little bit of like a favorite, least favorite, kind of like what I expected and what the reality was, and then my score. So what I expected this to be, hearing Infinity Castle, vaguely knowing what is supposed to happen in this, I imagined it was going to be more of like multiple fights happening simultaneously and kind of going along through that. But in reality, what it was two main fights happening with backstory being told as like things are happening. And three. Yeah. Like the two main fights were
Zenitsu
with Akaza. Yeah, and then Zenitsu. The beginning one just felt like more of for better or less worse, just an ass beating. It was kind of like where you feel like too much.
Whenever he was insulting her as he was hugging her, I was like,
yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, it really just felt like an ass beating. He's like, "Whoa, you almost got me," and then like kill. Like it was supposed to be like I think he's supposed to be like a nice, gentle character, but in reality, it was very like, I'm stronger than you, and I know I am. Yeah. But so that's kind of what it like vaguely what I meant with two main fights, because it was mainly Zenitsu and Akaza that felt like genuine fights. But this had a lot of backstory, and I think the backstory was fine for the most part. But again, I'm not a huge fan of fight a little, backstory a little, fight a little, backstory a little. It feels like a lot of jumping back and forth. Again, I think what you said with tell at the beginning, kind of introduce it before the fight or like after the fight would have worked. But the main story really kind of suffered, I think, with Akaza. I feel like I saw the same thing multiple times. But my favorite was Zetsu seeing his grandpa and being like, I'm proud of you, like you're my pride and joy. That was really nice to see. And my least favorite, to kind of like sum it up, was really just the last 10 minutes of like repeated backstory with Akaza, because it was something I kind of figured out on my own.
Yeah.
How close they were and didn't exactly need to be shown. And I think what you were saying with the pacing, that's kind of where they started faulting. And I gave it an 8 out of 10 because the fights and the animation were so good. And that's really what I came for. And the backstory was long, but it was really good. And looking back on it, I don't vaguely remember like being like, oh man, this backstory is taking forever. I remember the main points of the background, which is probably what they were going for. But in theaters, I do remember thinking this is going to end like 5 times before it actually did. But I go with an 8 out of 10. I don't think there are many like movies in this genre that are significantly better than this.
Fair. Just don't push it again, bro. Like
I'm okay with waiting.
That's the reason why.
But like in this moment, I was thoroughly enjoyed. But the main reason I don't want to watch it is because of how long it was.
There's like 40 minutes total that I want to watch again, and that's like 30% of the movie.
Yeah,
which is
it's right. Jan, take us home.
I'm with you, although I do want to watch it, but there's a lot of catch time that I want to watch again. But part of me doesn't want to go back for the same reason. The ending, how slow it is. If anything, I'd go in like the middle of the day, not at 8:30, so I don't get out at 12 o'clock. Because I also was falling asleep during that. It was really sad because I wanted to stay awake and alert, but animation was beautiful. I can agree with that. I wish that fight with the gentle too. I wish that would have been at the end. They would have left with that, left Nemo on a loss in a way.
Yeah.
But I guess like they're gonna probably title as like Star Wars, in which the sequel was gonna be like Empire Strikes Back. So I'm saying the order right, and then whatever, the final movie they'll save the day. I feel like I would have liked, or I feel like that's the route they're gonna take. So maybe that's probably the end all. Regardless, I think it would have been better. Did you guys remember that incident had did you know like that sixth?
Do you know it was brought up in the show? It was brought up in the movie. I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't a fan of that either. Like I didn't say about it because I'm not in. Like I like Demon Slayer. I wouldn't say I love it. Like I don't know the ins and out of it like I do with One Piece or Bleach or something like that. So I was like, oh, I don't remember him, but maybe it's just because I don't remember him. Was he actually never mentioned before until?
I don't think he was. Yeah, Lily did not know who he was, or Logan.
He is
So the people I went with.
he is in the show actually.
Really?
She is.
So I want to show me. I went and got breakfast on Friday morning, and because I didn't know about him either, and my buddy did it. But TikTok did. TikTok knew who that guy was. Evidently, in the backstory during like the training arc last season, he's on the Hashira, the one that cries, this Earth dude. He's retelling a story in which the demons, someone left the dojo or whatever and never returned. If you remember that, that is him. He never returned and became that.
That's the great hint of him.
But they show him. No, they actually do animate him. You can see how it's just while he was still a human. But I mean, he's like 10 seconds, maybe. Like he exists, but like you don't know. So it could still argue bad writing. Maybe it was bad.
I like Demon Slayer. It's like the visual over substance show, Like, yeah, you could be like, oh yeah, it's deep because Akaza was like, I hated them because they're weak, but I'm actually the weak one. But like to me, that's just so surface level, and that's I don't know. And the animation is amazing. Like it's probably the best animation out there, up there with like the Fate animation or Mappa or something like that. But
yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, it's like its own. It's still distinct enough that it's different. I just love the vibrant color.
Like shit. Like every time they showed that orb of Muzan, garbage. I was like,
when you're like healing or recovering or whatever. That's reasonable.
But the CG mix of 2D elements is amazing in all of their like charging and fighting and stuff like that. That's great.
Just the Infinity Castle alone. So cool. And then
that was so dumb. What the fuck even was it? Holding itself and then it expanded. What's happening? That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in a movie. Like
it looks so cool now.
Did it? I was like, this is a CG mess being thrown together randomly, and then it expands. You're not even explaining what's happening.
I think that was for exaggeration effect.
That was like,
I guess we take it honestly. Yeah, like
it was definitely like the movie was boring the last 40 minutes. Let's have something really interesting on screen.
I liked everything up until that though, when the crows were flying and trying to learn like the layout of the area. I thought that was cool.
I get it. Yeah,
I didn't mind that. Like they actually have like a base of operations on like the surface. The Transatlantic.
They had a planet.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right, that's are we done?
Well, Jake got to give his number 7.5. No, 7. July 7.
7. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so what, Zach? You're at 6.5, and then Chan at 7. I'm at an 8. All right, so
7.2.
we're at like a 7 overall, which again I feel comfortable with. I still think it's an above average movie.
It is an above average movie. It just like, fuck, I never want to watch it again. I think I honestly the only time I'll ever watch it again is if I watch Demon Slayer with G. I will only ever fast forward to points that I want to see other than that. But fuck, it was one of the worst paced movies I've ever seen. But again, it's not supposed to be a movie. It's just a TV show with better animation. That's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. It just isn't a movie.
We call him back.
Awesome.
Yeah, now to go back.
We'll just keep doing it until he sees.
Yeah.
And so that's why Demon Slayer is the best movie ever made.
Euler, come on.
So, other stuff that I watched this week or experienced was I played Black Ops 6 a lot because they released a new challenge to get a pistol. And I found a glitch that allows me, not a glitch, an exploit that allows me to go through the camo grinding a little bit easier because I am a big fan of camo grinding usually, but I think in this game it is terrible. It's done really poorly. So I'm happy to have found an exploit to help with that. I decided that I want to play a game because it's taking me longer to edit these 2 videos than I wanted it to be. So I decided I'm going to play a game that's going to not be a video, just a short. And I was like, it's going to be a Lego game. But then I started Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, and I realized, yeah, this is going to be a video. I care about this game too much. So I stopped playing that. I still want to do like a Lego game. So I think I'm going to do Lego Incredibles because I've never heard anything about it. It's $3 on the Switch store right now. I heard that the 100% is only 10 hours. So I'm thinking it's going to end up being like about a 6 out of 10.
Only 10 hours.
Something like that. Yeah. So
What?
So I'm thinking that this is going to be a good in between my videos game. So I was thinking about doing that. But the only other thing I really watched was I'm almost caught up on season 2 of Dan to Dan. I'm really liking this. I think this season is significantly better than last season. I don't like the Gallon Wiener guy. I'm not a fan of him. But that's fair. Sorry. I mean, he looks exactly like you. So like, I totally get it, man. Why you
Missing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they actually took that line from me. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's
It's artist.
Skylar, so I understand why Skylar likes him, but I just didn't jive with him. I've only watched an episode, and I watched 2 episodes with him, like his episode and then the Kaiju episode. But I think I have like 2 or 3 episodes left to go. Not the full Kaiju. It ended with the Kaiju growing into being big. That's the last episode.
Hey. I'm watching. Watch out there.
Sorry, I forgot you're not caught up. I think
Spoiler.
that was my bad.
I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's important.
I think Gallon Weenie guy gives me the vibe of Michael Scott, and that's just not my kind of humor, personally. I don't know. I love Momo and Okaren though. They're awesome.
Yeah. They're definitely the 2 standouts. What about for me? Gigi was sick too. Don't worry.
I really liked whenever they came to the deal and he was like, "You're weak," and then Evil Eye kept pounding the ground. Oh, Austin, sorry. And then that's super fair. I'll tell you. But like Evil Eye was freaking out about it, and he goes, "No, this is the deal." And then Evil Eye takes off his underwear and he goes, "Take this." I thought that was really funny. But then they had Granny in the background and was like, "Nice weenie." I thought that was hilarious. But
Dude, a lot of people were upset about that, actually, that she said that. Like, a lot of people.
well, she said it in like in a childlike way. She just
Exactly.
like dicking around at them. And
She's joking, yeah. But, like, some people just need something else. I mean, you know, the show already teeters. It's already teetering in ways.
like when
I guess when they do that.
Evil Eye ripped off her clothes to punch her instead of grabbing her shoulder.
Oh, my.
That made me so unbelievably upset. I was just like, not unbelievably. I just was like, you're kidding me. The season was good so far. But I really love the slice of life moments in this show. I think that's like by far the peak for the most part. You're good for the most part, Austin. I'm gonna like reference something, but it's kind of, I don't know if you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it until you see the scene. But like, I fucking really love whenever they're just talking. Like it's very well written. The characters, just both of them. I liked whenever they were leaving, and she was like, "That's it." And she kept like hitting him with the stems of her toad. I thought that was so just like I could see that happening. You know, you don't see real shit like that much in anime. It's always like dramatized, over the top,
Like a real
it's an
awkward interactions.
like high schoolers that have a crush on each other. It was really well written. That's it. That's everything I've watched this week. Popcorn Austin, right? Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Here.
I'm sorry. I'm
Why are
sorry.
you doing this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Austin,
Yes, guy.
what have you been watching?
Oh, well, I guess continuing on that topic, and thank you for asking, by the way.
I'll always ask you.
Wonderful to hear that. But yeah, I started Dan to Dan, And this has been, it's really good. Like, it's really good.
You're gonna feel the same as me, dude. Season 1 is like fine because it's really weird.
I'm like, I think 7 episodes in, something like that. I don't know enough episodes in. Yeah, I'm like, it's. I made a good bit of the way through, and like, I feel like I've been kind of binging it. But like the first couple episodes, man, like, oh, it's tough. It pushed me like it to like. I wish it wasn't as good as it is. That's where I
felt the same way. I felt the same way.
I wish it was, because like I want to stop watching this because of all the weird shit, and like it's not even just weird shit. Like I could get past the like give me your dong boy and him just like do it like I don't even want to say because if you like, they're naked, like they don't need to be, like they don't need to be at any point during this, and it's very very frustrating because it's so continuous, and like this, especially like the first episode scene. Where like she's just I don't know.
Wait till you see the hanger of the season, bro. It's really crazy. You're gonna love it.
It just made me really uncomfortable, but I really like the transformation of like Okaroon. I like all of the like actual plot they're going through, and I think it's interesting and not things that I've seen before. So I'm interested in it, but like this isn't one that I'm gonna tell people who don't watch anime that I watch or recommend at all. But it's good and I'm enjoying. Kaiju number 8, I'm keeping up with. I thought it was over, to be honest. Like I think 2 episodes.
Next episode, actually.
I didn't watch the last 2, and I just watched the last night. And I thought, I guess it would have been like 3 weeks ago, that it was the end, like of the season. Like they kind of, I thought, made it seem like that. Yeah, I mean, it's still really good, and it's ramping up a lot faster than I thought it would. Like
you're fine, Scott. I think he's being vague enough.
I'm being vague. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's ramping up very fast to like what I think the main plot's gonna be. So it's really interesting. Okay, that makes sense. And then I'm sorry about this guy, but Hollow Knight, I've put 28 hours into that this past week. Well, I think it's technically like 20 because I had a little bit going into it. Yeah, it was Hollow Knight's gotten me through this last week. It's been an interesting one. And I beat the game. I should say I'm technically, I think, 68% of the way through, but I got one of the endings last night on Discord. I was like streaming with some of my friends and like Tyler, like Perky, if you know him, I know Zach does. I was just streaming like the point where I'm at, and I'm like, I think this is gonna be a point. I'll throw it on, and he's just like, "Oh my god, you're here! How are you here? How did you even possibly get here?" And then I beat the game on stream with like a couple of people watching. It was actually really fun. I still don't even know what the plot is, but like it's really really good and really fun, and I'm still gonna continue to play because I think there's 5 different endings you can get. And you can keep playing after you like get one. So I really, really, really enjoyed that game. Besides that, continuing to read One Piece. The last episode of One Piece was good. I think that's about it. Black Clover, I'm slowing down on. After like the new arc started, I'm just not as invested, and I think Dan has caught my attention more. It's better animation, but like the story's more interesting too, and like even just the writing.
Okay, you think a kid's balls is more interesting than classism and racism? What the fuck, dude?
I think it's the way that it's presented this issue, because every other scene in Black Clover is like, Asta is my light and my only true motivation in this world. He said hi to me once, and now I feel like life has purpose. And like, Dan has it's funny. it's slice of life, and it's also really, really cool. And a lot of the curses and aliens like are really distinct from other things that I've seen. So like I'm enjoying that. Black Clover, it's just here's classism in like the portion size of a 7-year-old child. Like,
Is it more like Dan to Dance, like more unique in your mind, whereas Black Clover is a little more like I've seen something like this before?
yeah, Black Clover just feels like kind of standard, like run of the mill anime to me, with like a decent overall concept and like message. Day to Day is just more entertaining episode to episode. I want to watch the next one and whenever one ends, and Black Clover just isn't that for me right now. But yeah, I think that's about it. Been playing Rematch as well. I'm not getting better at that game. It's a little bit. Yeah, I think that's about it from me.
Chandler, oh, I would love to know what you've been watching. So, what have you been watching?
Really not that much for 2 weeks of me not being, or a week of me not being here. Which is making me feel like I'm forgetting things. Or maybe I'm afraid to mention what I've been watching. Who knows? All Devouring All Devouring Whale. I finished that whole anime. That is so good. I like it. It was good. I had looked online in terms of like a sequel. None of these confirmed. A lot of people actually don't mess with the show so much. I think it's like a ripoff.
I don't know any
Like-
anybody, but I think the animation looks amazing.
And the animation when it's good is really good. Gives me almost like Demon Slayer vibes with how vibrant it looks. But they do save lots of money at certain parts of the show. I'll just say that. Invincible problems. It's actually really not paid as equal. Actually, no. I know.
That's
Mostly what I said. So I mean it.
sorry. Continue.
It's like it doesn't go on to like that effect, but it has its own ways of being bad animation wise. It's really weird. I've never seen a show do what it does. But regardless, I also finished Lord of Mysteries. I cannot wait to read the book. I wanted to so badly. They get around to it. I'm so excited for these next 10 years. That show is so good. Gives me ample time to read it. So that
It's like the first one of where I bought it after your recommendation, so I can lend it to you.
no, I have it over there too. I'm like, you're buying it. Got me to go buy it because I've been sitting on too many Barnes Noble gift cards.
That's really funny.
Sakamoto Days. I think I mentioned this before. Oh, it's so good. I'm so glad I picked it back up. I think there might be like 3 or so episodes left. Some have yet to air, but it's so good. It's so good. Has anyone here seen the movie? I've seen the show.
Heard of it.
I've seen a lot of clips from it and a lot of the fighting from the dude with the mustache.
Plus, yes. Okay. Does he have a mustache? I guess.
Mustache? Am I like? I thought that was
The guy with white hair. He's white hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, he might. I just don't. I haven't blanking. I suppose.
I want to see if I'm crazy or not now. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a badass. It's so cool. The message is really good too, but I'll wait until that time when we all see that. Helldivers 2 I've been playing. That's like the only game I've been playing. That and much of both, but Helldivers 2, it's been lots of fun. Zach would need to play more when it works.
Dan this week.
If it doesn't lag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was so laggy, bro. That was so bad.
It was
so
good. The one that we played this time was fine. We just lost.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was just very difficult.
Yeah.
But that previous one, oh my gosh, made me hate that. Was like the first day or 2 days after downloading it. That's what I got.
It was bad too.
Oh.
For context,
Yes.
Chandler would pause, and then he was host, so all of the bugs would also pause, and I was the only one allowed to move. So Chandler was just sitting there talking like, "This is so not fun." I'm like, "I don't know, I'm having fun." That's great.
Oh god, it happened every 3 seconds. Like it wasn't like I could go 20 seconds and then it was consistently every 3 seconds, stunned for longer than 3 seconds.
It was funny.
That was so nice. I'm glad you had fun. I really. Soul Leveling 2. Well, we already mentioned Demon Slayer, but Soul Leveling 2. Has anyone here seen that? Because I haven't fully.
Like this,
Yeah, I'll say because he's. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't. I'm very late to the party here. I'm very late, but we're still trying to finish it. I love it a lot. I want to go back and rewatch it though because we're currently watching it dubbed. I almost never watch anime dubbed, so it's actually really funny. Like whenever they say something, I'm like, yeah, they would not. Japanese subtitles would be so different. I just know it. So I kind of want to go back and rewatch the Japanese subtitle, Japanese voice, some English subtitles. So yeah. All right, but that's all I've been. Well, that's all I can recall.
Can we take a pause for a second? I'm literally about to piss myself because I've had 2 drinks. So can we take a pause?
All right, we're back. Skylar did not, in fact, piss himself.
Good job, Sky.
Yay, Skylar!
I know, wait. Rufus, go.
Tell Larry. All right,
Yeah, another one.
everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. Sky.
What have you been watching?
I know. I really tried to build some climactic appeal with me having to go take a piss. I really hope it works. I guess we'll find out. But so I'll start it off with I have watched 2 more episodes into Kaiju number 8. So I got to see. You're all caught up, correct? I'm the only one. Okay, so I got to see Kafka fail transforming, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I kind of liked that he's like psychologically like messed up with it. And then I like how he kind of overcame it like relatively quick with like the ease of like a teammate. I thought that was kind of nice. And then I also really liked the idea of whenever it took over, he found out how to use the body better. Yeah, it's a really cool aspect because he's still like conscious while it's there.
Yeah.
So I do really like that. And the beginning of the season, episode 1 and 2, were a little slow-ish, but it started picking up really quick. So I am hoping to be caught up or almost caught up by the next episode. I am caught up with Dan. I think I forgot to say it last week, but I read the JJK chapter 2, the JJK 2 chapter 2.
First one so far, so don't know.
I was the I2. And the 3rd one just came out, so I planned on reading that before the next.
Third one, it pissed me off.
I didn't. Jane told me in one ear out the other. Forgot already.
I can't believe it.
So
I hope it's wrong.
I have that. I'm caught up on One Piece. I also played Hollow Knight. Not 20 hours, but more like 4. But I did get to the 2nd area, which I'm pretty excited about. It's the little jungle path that I was in. It kind of kicked my ass, I'm going to be honest. I had so much geo that I was so scared the entire time. I had like 900 plus. So I was like, dude, I need to find my way out of here so I can go buy something so I don't have this. So I did that, and I'm going to keep exploring more. But I still don't think I'm even close to beating it. But I still am having a lot of fun with it. I have also that's definitely not it. Is that that actually might be? Oh, I read a chapter or 2 of Kagurobachi. I'm still like going to the gym. I downloaded Stardew Valley because it's free on PlayStation right now, and I really want to play it. I played a couple of games with Zach, or specifically Marvel Rivals, just a couple here and there. Which it's starting to really lose its appeal to me. And I don't know if they can really do anything to fix it. I just don't like the idea of running quote unquote optimal teams. It gets really boring after seeing the same thing.
For casual too, which is insane.
Yeah, for casual. Like I want to play and I want to have fun. I just want to run the characters. So like that's like all. And it's also very annoying because like I'm a tank player. It's very annoying being a solo tank. It honestly is. And it's not like I want anybody to change and not play who they want because like I don't want to be the only tank. But like I wish more people were more inclined to play it, which is fair. They just dropped a new tank, but I don't think she's a very good second tank. She's never there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so I got that. I'm still.
Fun. That's
A flying tank is a cool concept because it helps like more in the air. So if you're an all air team, she's a really good tank because she's there.
yeah.
But like most of your team's on the ground. So yeah, still playing Dokkan, still playing like Clash Royale, and then keeping up with some
Kardashian.
other stuff. I've been watching like basically all of the football games that have been coming out. Noah, if you made it this far, here's my jersey.
If
2, Patrick Surtain. I don't know who your favorite team is, but your favorite team's wide receiver is getting 0 catches on my favorite player. So that's how I'm going to end it. A little bit of beef because he said that he can't believe they're Broncos fans. My boy's a deep boy for a reason. So I'm fine with.
you've ever had last week or something.
It was more like it wasn't like actually like it was a 1-point loss. So like looking at it, it wasn't a terrible loss, but it was against the Colts, who I thought we should beat anyway. And then it was a 60-yard field goal that he missed. He actually missed it, and then they made a leverage call, which usually doesn't get called too often, but it was leverage. So like I can't be mad about that. It's just that it's not called often, and it got called, and then it moved him closer, and he got to retry the kick, and then he made the kick. So it was like if he didn't do that, we win. If that call just doesn't happen, like it does most of the time, like we win. But it is what it is. 1 loss. Like we're 1-1. We're not 1-17. So it is what it is. They played the Chargers today, so I'm hoping that's going to be a good game. I know the Chargers are favored, so Broncos are underdogs. So I'm excited to watch.
Hey, you know this is stay down till you come up.
Hey, and boy, are we about to come up. So keep watching. Yeah, just a little friendly banter with Noah for saying there aren't any Broncos fans out there. Yeah, we are.
I love that you take that number so much, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. He wanted me to take the card. Not because he loves the card.
He wants it.
He wants to be a fan. I'm more than willing to talk football with some other people. It's always nice. It's always fun. Yeah, but stay tuned. I believe we are watching Tron. Is it Tron? Is it actually Tron? Tron? Is that legitimately the name?
The movie's
just Tron.
That's Tron. It's just
okay. I thought so. All the had an uplifting after it. I thought they had another one after it, so I was a little worried because I haven't watched it. So let us know in the comments what you thought about Monster University, whether it's good opinion, bad opinion. You think Austin's right? You think the rest of us are right? Next week, we're going to be coming with Tron. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with Tron.
Hell yeah, bro. Any other quarrels from anyone else out there? And Skylar, if you have anything else, I figured not. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next week with Tron. This is one of my favorite movie series of all time. I'm very excited for the new one too. We'll see you guys next week. See you. I would time.